Tai-no-Henko. So it's very common when people do Tai-no-Henko, yubi nage. Is the person will come in, doesn't matter if they're straight, sometimes they make a big deal out of being angled. And then they hold really tight here. So if you look at me, my tactic is not with spinal displacement, okay? His tactic is a turning tactic. So these don't go together. So I don't have a yang tactic. He's trying to do a yin tactic. It doesn't work, okay? And we made that point in Gateway Aikido video 15, okay? So if you reverse engineer, I'm now nage. If you reverse engineer that I'm going to do a turn, then he must do a yang tactic, okay? So hence, he's pushing me. There's his spinal displacement. And I'm going to turn him, then turn myself. This is how we do it now, okay? Sometimes people not understanding the tactical opening for a turning movement make a big deal over the wrist technique. So and he'll grab really hard and he'll hold it in place, and then I don't know why, but for some reason this is considered what you want to do. It's some sort of joint manipulation. It's some sort of leverage manipulation. Again, that is not Aikido. We don't look to overpower our person, our uke or our opponent through leverage, because leverage is nothing more than a mechanical advantage, and mechanical advantage is relative. So, for example, she's gonna do it, you're nage. Can you duplicate what I did? Yeah, we'll let her do it the first time. This one just goes here, straight under, get your weight under you. And you go, okay, cool. Don't let her do it. Okay. So I could do it on him, I could get that leverage on him, but she could not, okay? So that's not Aikido from a physical point of view. But from an energetic point of view, remember there's three components. The energetic component is the important one because it stands between the spiritual component and the physical component. Energetically, there's something else that happens that allows for most people to not problematize what we just did there. And that is that the uke, I'll be the uke. And in some lineages, you'll see they'll have a good grip, but then they let him go ahead and do that technique. This right here. Okay. So I took my palm off of the technique, and this is because they do not recognize the energetic aspect of Kihon Waza or Aiki Taiso. There are 2 or 4 key areas on the body that you must just be able to become sensitive to in order to do energetic work, in order to do Kokyu and Aiki, what it really is, what it always was to Silk Road culture. Okay, not what we say it is today, breath or some weird psyops or good body mechanics, okay? And you have a spot on your palm, you have a spot on the other palm, and you have that what we call the midfoot point and the other midfoot point. For those not in the know, this is where Jesus was crucified in the myth, okay? And it's referencing these alchemical parts of our body. What I'm doing here is I'm never grabbing with my grip, but I am projecting my energy at the palm. Okay, so, and this is where you first get that Aiki adhesion going. Because I'm sensitive to the relationship between my palm and him, and I can bring awareness to it. So I don't need a grip, but I bring that Aiki adhesion in at the palm. And if he throws a strike, as we've been doing, that is now from the palm, from that spot, you can again generate the adhesion. So we emphasize that the uke never ever loses the palm connection, okay? So if he does that joint manipulation technique, you see, but now I'm tasked with never loosening my palm, the shoulder's up, okay? It doesn't really work. And now if I add the yang tactic, don't take my palm off, and he tries that same thing, it's not gonna work at all, okay? So it doesn't even give the illusion that you did some sort of superior mechanical advantage, and it might wanna be something you know. It's not, okay? What we're doing here is he is energetically in his utilization of the yang tactic, which we know as spinal displacement, he's giving me yang energy. That yang energy I'm using to set and manifest my tanden field. Then, at this adhesion point, I go ahead and take it from him. I use the adhesion point. I start the turn. Now I create the space for irimi, and I now, yin space, I now move into the yin space. When you look at the other variant, he's going to irimi and Tenkan. There is no yang energy really going by him. So usually the uke will go like this, where they break center, they break their own tanden field, they deflate it, and then from here he would Tenkan, and I just kind of sit here. From the point of view of Kazushi, I'm never really in Kazushi. I just let go of my grip. If you add all the other factors, keep your palm on, penetrate, and he tries that same thing, irimi Tenkan, he gets stuck. Okay? We do the other way. He's pushing and keeping his palm on. And go ahead, as hard as you can. Good. As hard as you can. Go. Good. He goes. You can see that it fits together. But it is not merely me getting out of the way. It is what I'm saying. There's an adhesion here, there's a tanden field here, a tanden field here, such that if he pulls, he's pulling, it doesn't matter to me. As my tanden field turns, his tanden field turns, okay? Same thing, he's pulling, pull. You can even walk backwards. You pull. Same thing, he's pulling. I can still move my tanden field. And that's what we're trying to do in Tai-no-Henko, is generate the tanden field, rotate the tanden field. Generate the tanden field, rotate the tanden field. Okay, let's try it. The ashi sabaki, the footwork, okay? So as he's pushing, I ground vector off the back foot. That's where everything is. Generate the field. I'm going to turn him. Let's do the tesabaki first. Go back to this one. Go back to this one. Two different tesabaki. Here. Here. I'll tell you that your Aikido will improve vastly if you adopt the view I hold, which is there's only two tesabaki, and it's the same one, just inverse. The inward spiral and the outward spiral. So my hands are either doing this or they're doing this. If you continue the one, it becomes the other one. Reverse one becomes the other one. This is not one, okay? You cannot keep the energy flow that is the main aspect of the misogi in the rotation of the tanden field with this kind of stuff, okay? So, Tetsubaki is in Tai-no-Henko. I know it looks like it's going inward, but it's a Taoist world. It's actually going outward. So if I change my footwork, you would see that it is going outward. It appears to go inward because I rotate as it's going into its shape. It's an outward spiral. You should think Kokuho. Now for the Ashisabaki, the footwork. Mid-foot vector on the back foot, so there's that sacred spot on the right foot in this case. I turn him. I create the yin, the suki, for me to enter into it. Okay, my footwork is not going to be here because the fight is rotating. If I step straight, you're going to see that you lose the outward spiral. You're going to have to make it an inward one now. And when you do that, you're going to lose the Aiki adhesion because you're going to go positive on the yang side plus yang, and you end up pulling them around. So as the fight rotates, I step on the rotation. You try to watch my right foot. As it rotates, I step on the rotation. I don't want to think in an XY grid, which is what you have here. This thing is rotating. The whole thing is rotating. So, rotate your irimi. Irimi doesn't mean straight. Irimi means to enter in with the body. Enter into what? Into the center of the rotation. But the rotation is moving, so you have to also be rotating as you move to the center of the rotation. We'll go back to the right foot. That rotation now marks where your Tenkan is. Maybe come to this side. You don't want to Tenkan in such a way that that foot is now turning out against you. And you're in this goofy stance. This is not martial. You're on a tightrope, and this is not anatomically sound. It's going to hurt your knee. So, as I go, I enter on the rotation, and that marks where my other foot can go, so that I don't keep over-rotating it. No, straight or in. Now for weight distribution. Your center of gravity has to go on that foot. So as I enter on that foot, my center of gravity is on that foot, which means that becomes my new ground vector. I don't want my line of gravity between my feet rotating between me. Boom, I'm on that foot. So that my Tenkan is straight back, not on a curve. The turn already happened. The turn already happened here. Tenkan is straight back. Not over here. You're going to do that. The turn already happened. The turn already happens in the blind spot. Turn already happened. Boom. Okay, let's try it. Go. So we had a question here as Uke not feeling the connection. Your job as uke is to maintain the connection, okay? Because energetically, that's what's happening, okay? You can always disengage the connection, as we demonstrated in the final part. It was part 5 of Gateway Aikido video 15, okay? Martially, that would open you up back to yang tactics, but energetically, it's like letting all the air out of a balloon. It just deflates, okay? Usually when we do this, and you were doing it here, is as he goes, you push originally, and then as he goes, you're moving around in this way, okay? And you end up running around him. You can go a little quicker so I can demonstrate. You see that? But if you pay attention, you'll be able to feel it. You guys might not see it. Is the pressure at the Aiki adhesion at the contact point goes up and down in energetic value, okay? So you'll recognize it here, and as you start and you feel, see how I do that? You see that? And now it's off, okay? Now, for you, if you watch my center is going to disengage, okay? So as he goes, you see, it goes backwards if you watch. But if I'm driving the yang energy, my center is going to go forward, and it'll fall into the empty space. I will not walk around and keep my balance, okay? So I'm going to generate the yang energy. He's grounding it. There are fields, and he moves, and boom, you'll fall into that empty space. I don't want you to cosmetically do the footwork, but let us say, at least cosmetically, go, it's not, keep going, it's not this. It's not this. In my experience, what it tends to be is an initial fall, followed by another skip. So let's see if it has. Sometimes it's different, but most times it's that. I'll do the other one. You see? I'm in total control. That's not Uke's role. Uke's role is to fall into the void. Fall into the void. Push, boom, fall into the void. It's terrifying to fall into the void, even in this simple Tai-no-Henko drill. But it's a place where we can practice it, come out alive, come out uninjured, you see, and get used to it. And it's where you can really cultivate your releasing. So I'm going to push and fall into the void. Different, okay?